Hey everyone, so in this video I actually have some interesting film for you where someone is actually attacking my defensive team and they're using an auto attack team. So I'm going to be analyzing their auto attack team and kind of just talking about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and if there's any room for improvement. But so far it's a fairly effective team. I like the team composition. I do find it a little slow, but it is very sturdy. I myself don't run an auto attack team, nor do I think I ever will have one that I rely upon exclusively. I think having a team that can auto attack, even if it is a bit slow, is useful to have in your repertoire because everyone gets busy during war sometimes where they can't focus exclusively on the game. And, having an auto attack team just gives you that ability to do other things while still participating and contributing to your team. So as you see, my defensive team is almost completely down and the offensive team has all 5 characters up and has a bunch of HP and bonus HP. So in this video, we're going to be going over each individual toon on the offensive team to kind of explain why the team actually works. Because I've seen a lot of failed auto attack teams, like I have tried to design some auto attack teams myself, but I never seem to have the right components. So the leader toon that this person ends up using is Pete. And the reason why Pete is used is because of his leadership skill. So the plus 30% HP, defense, and a huge bonus to AP when taking damage for all ranged toons. His rush, revives, provides guardian shields, as well as bonus HP. So this toon just makes your team really tanky. And the only way you can really run a toon like this on offense as the lead is if you're using indirect damage to bring the opponent down. So that's like bleed, burn, or maim, for example. He also has a pretty decent active skill, recovering from maim as well as healing. So overall, Pete is a very sturdy toon. I've seen him used on a lot of auto attack teams, but I also find that he usually makes those teams a lot slower because he's never really applying any damage. His main job is to anchor your team off so that your toons don't die. Pete can also offer additional HP at the beginning of a match with his bound weapon. You can always weapon swap this to a stun weapon if you have it maxed out and changed over to a 5-star weapon as well. The next toon on this team is Wangfuh. And what I really like about Wangfuh is that he's a pretty good support character as well as a leader toon. So his leadership skill offers crosshairs to the enemy as well as a huge bonus to AP when attacking for tough and strong teammates. His rush is fast at 66 AP. His rush offers bleed, hemobleed, as well as crosshairs, meaning there's 3 different types of effects that are being placed on the enemy, which would actually line up really well with, say, a trauma toon. His active skill is also very useful by being a turn 2 active skill as a S-class toon, 100% heal reduction for 3 turns, and then he gains 60% AP, meaning he can be command rushed the same turn, or normally rush the turn after. The point is, this 100% heal reduction can work really well on any type of bleed team or a team that relies upon infection. Another somewhat underrated S-class toon is Minerva. Now, what I like about Minerva is that her rush is 66 AP and can apply infection to 2 enemies, as well as 3000 trauma, 25% heal reduction, and then all teammates get 75% defense for 3 turns. So this gives a huge buff to all teammates. This applies a number of different types of indirect damage, and she basically covers herself by applying trauma. So if the opponent tries to recover from heal reduction, infection, or bleed, burn, maim, and so on, the trauma damage would be incredibly high because trauma stacks. Her active skill is not as useful. There's bonus HP and regaining max HP, but it's only to self. So it makes her very sturdy, but I don't think that she necessarily needs that, especially being an Outlast toon, because she can't die from one single hit. She will be around for an additional turn after. So the next toon in this team, I almost think is overkill for this team. I don't think that both Pete and Frost are needed on the team. I think Frost would be sufficient because when Frost rushes, he can also revive a teammate. And all teammates can regain up to 30% of their max HP for 5 turns, which would help counter infection, for example. His active skill is something I would not level, but I know some people have. I just think that Frost is a very tanky shield to use, and he's a smart toon to use, especially if you have an elusive impair weapon on him. It would help you control the opponent while also ensuring all your toons stay alive. The last toon on this team, and potentially the most important toon, is S-Class Princess. Now, Princess, as we know, is a great toon to use on both offense and defense. Her rush damage is super high, and she is very effective running both ways. She has an extra ability when on defense, where when she rushes, she gets plus 30% defense for 3 turns. But what truly makes this character so flexible is her active skill. Normalize, in my opinion, is one of the best skills in the game at the moment. There still really isn't a true counter to it. There's some characters that can recover from it, but it's still considered to be rare. With 3 enemies getting normalized for 3 turns, it means their specialist skill is basically disarmed for those 3 turns. So this makes payback toons on attack less effective, it makes command toons less effective, human shields, it just makes so many different characters less effective. Plus, when they're forced to taunt into her, it means she's getting an attack buff from Berserker and potentially from her weapon as well. So for anyone who doesn't have Princess, I highly recommend working towards her. She will boost everyone's attack and defense team just because her kit is so unique and she's such a powerful toon. Jumping back now to film, you'll notice I made some changes to my defensive team, and I put in a more defensive lineup instead of a turn 1 defense team or having Priya on defense, for example. But as you see, this attack team is still overpowering my defense team. I'm able to stun the opponent multiple times, but I'm not able to apply enough damage. If anything, Princess just keeps getting triggered again and again. She's rushed twice already and has killed 3 toons. I now have 100% heal reduction on my characters, infection, trauma, bleed, taunt, and my team is really just getting nowhere. I don't have really any healers on my defensive team anyway, and it's easy to see where my defensive team falls short. There's a real time limit on my team with infection in place. Let me know in the comment section below if you run an auto attack team. Thanks again for watching and listening to my video.